Welcome back to another episode of War in Cali. Now, a known viral clip has always circulated around the internet, which came from the 1980s. A lot of people took this video as funny, with the tone of the video and the context of what was said, but most don't know what occurred after the video.
What's happening here? We'll introduce you first to a group of Crips, gangbangers from the Linwood section of Los Angeles, a war zone filled with posturing little soldiers.
It's easy to Crip to me.
How important is the money?
I don't have a problem. Is it not important?
You'd be a Crip whether there was the money or not.
Yeah, that's right. Y'all think Crippin' got to do with money?
It ain't got nothing to do with money. That's protecting your homeboys. Watching out for one another. Some y'all don't do, y'all don't watch out for. You wouldn't die for him, would you? You saying that now on TV, but you wouldn't die for him for real. I'd die for my homeboy.
Would you die?
Yeah, I'd die for my homeboy.
If somebody came up to you tomorrow, grabbed you and said, I got a job, good pay for you, would that make a difference?
Come on, let's go now.
It ain't gonna stop me from Crippin'.
But you'd take the job
Crip.
too, wouldn't you?
Huh?
You'd take the job too?
I'm a Crip at work.
I'm sure many have seen the Crip at Work clip, but the guy who said this name was Antoine Hill, aka Tidybo. Tidybo was born September 7, 1970, and he was affiliated with the Front Hood Compton Crips. On July 4th, 1988, Tidybo was killed near his home. Tidybo's girlfriend name was Gwen. She was a member of the Pominoke Crips, who were allies to the Front Hood Compton Crips. Both gangs considered the N Hoods responsible for Tidybo's death, which was another Crip gang in the area. According to prosecution gang experts, because Kelly Park was aligned with the N Hoods, they was also viewed as responsible. Tidybo was said to be killed just by walking home. He was only 17 years old. Two men, Stanford and Calvin, were members of the Pominoke Crips. They were also friends of Tidybo, and they wanted revenge. On July 26, 1988, a man named Gary and also another man named Dario from Kelly Park were at a house in Linwood. They were at the house with several females, being Desiree, Monique, Nico, Nicole, and Tanisha, among others. That evening, Tidybo's girlfriend Gwen spoke with Monique and Desiree by phone and asked why did they have those N-Hoods at their house. Monique told Gwen that there were no N-Hoods at her house. Gwen insisted that there were and told Monique that her homeboys would be over there in 5 minutes. Monique responded by saying she would go to Gwen's house to fight her. By the time Monique walked outside our house to drive to Gwen's house, a Cadillac had pulled up and parked in front of her house. Stanford and Calvin and two other men got out of the car. Other men arrived in another car. Monique walked towards the car, and Desiree walked from the inside of the house to the driveway. One of the men got out of the car and asked Monique who's inside the house. Monique said, I don't know. Go see for yourself. Stanford asked were there N-Hoods inside the house, which Monique said there was no N-Hoods there. As Monique walked towards the car, two of the men walked past her towards the back of the house, while Stanford and another man followed Monique to her car. As Monique tried to enter her car, Stanford grabbed her and slapped her in the face. He hit her with a closed fist and choked her as well. Monique walked back towards the front of the house, and Stanford followed about 20 feet from behind her. Meanwhile, Gary and Dario and several others were in the bedroom near the back of the house. Calvin stuck his head inside one of the windows in the room and asked where the N-Hoods at. Dario denied that there were any N-Hoods in the house and said, this is Kelly Park Crip. Calvin said, fuck Kelly Park Crip. This is Pominoke. Calvin then left the window and ran towards the front of the house. Dario and Gary briefly discussed getting into a fight with the Pominoke Crips. They was unaware they had guns. Outside in the front of the house, a witness saw a man run to a car. He pulled a rifle from the front seat of the car and ran back toward the back of the house. People inside the house began yelling, they got guns, they got guns, and someone yelled they got an AK. Calvin and three other men gathered at the rear of the house. Calvin had a rifle and carried a handgun in the waistband of his pants. The man kicked the back door and Calvin shot Gary 3 times in the hallway inside the house. According to medical examiners, he was shot 1 time in the head. Gary would die due to his injuries. About the same time the shooting occurred, Monique had returned to the front door of her house after the assault against her had happened. When Dario heard the gunshots, he turned and saw 3 men at the back of the hallway. He ran through the house past Monique and out the front door, where he would run into Stanford on the front porch. He pushed him out the way, and Stanford then chased after Dario. Dario jumped over a chain-like fence over a gate, while Stanford grabbed at his clothing. Dario was able to get away. Calvin, meanwhile, ran back to his car where he put his gun. He and his crew then fled in both cars. Calvin and Stanford were both later picked up, with them both being identified by people who were at the house and witnesses inside the neighborhood. They were both later sentenced to life for the retaliation murder. Tidybo has been gone nearly 30 years, and his death has caused more death and imprisonment, another deadly cycle of the streets. This will conclude this episode. If you haven't already, check out my previous episodes. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.